Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. If you're looking for PTCG live codes, make sure you check out the Potown store. You can get a 5% discount on your orders using that code Omnipoke. For today's video, we're going to be going over the regional championships in Pittsburgh, another record-breaking attendance regional championships, and alongside me is going to be Emily, who was out in the field reporting this one because she was actually in attendance for the tournament. Less said about the run yourself, the better, but we're going to go over the metagame and the tournament.
It's not my fault I hit our Chaladon Watchtower Venture Bomb Monkey Dory round one, Joe. But
I said the less the better.
Anyway, thank you so much for having me back.
Yes.
A lot has changed since the last time we've done a video together.
That is true.
We now live together.
That's
and we
true.
also have a second channel together called Duo Decks, and we'll link it in the description as well.
Mm-hmm.
It has reached actually insane numbers, and it's more for the people who want to get to know Joe's silly side, as I'm saying. It's a lot of our... we've done 2 vlogs, getting ready to do a third of Pittsburgh, of course, and then a massive collection video, which has actually shot through the roof in terms of viewership. Over 30,000 views on it. So if you want to see our collections, if you want to get to know Joe on more of a, fun level rather than just the stats guy, feel free to follow Duo Decks. But yes, I was here. What I was telling people was I was certainly at Pittsburgh. I don't know how much Pokemon I played. It was a 1-3 drop. It was disappointing after the week before, had like a great run at Frankfurt. But regardless, it is what it is. This is the last tournament in our Black Bolt White Flare format, so I am kind of happy to see this one go.
Yep, we're going to be sort of closing the chapter in today's video, so we're not going to get super in-depth with everything, but just sort of see how things ended up as a case study for the format and whatnot, because things still did change. Obviously, Frankfurt was just a week before this, or a couple of weeks before this, and we saw that Terra Box really popped up. We saw, obviously, Tor doing well again. We saw Gardevoir again. So lots of things that we expected, I suppose, but lots of surprises as well. I think Terra Box was definitely the surprise of Frankfurt, and that was carried on into this tournament. As we look at the metagame here, Dragon Dusk still the most popular, Golden Go still holding at 12%, but also the Joltik build at 6%. We've seen that over a couple tournaments now where they've combined to be the most popular overall. Gardy above the 10% threshold, which is kind of cool as well, but also when you combine the Jellicent build, which had a real heyday, I think, this weekend, really proving itself as a top build. If you combine those builds, that's Gardevoir at almost 15% or just above 15%. Raging Bolt slipping down below 10%, which we haven't seen for a little bit. Still a bit of Joltik, bit of Charizard, Terra Box in there as well. Again, like a niche pick, but as we look towards conversion and overall win rate just from the offset, it seems like some of the best winners just from overall win rate. The Guardy Jelly build, which we'll see in a lot of the top cuts. Terra Box having a decent win rate on the whole. Straight Dragapult doing okay as well. But this is essentially what we've come to know. No real surprises in terms of the positioning of these decks, right? Maybe Gardevoir with Jelly combined at 15 being finally one of the highest percentages is interesting.
I think it's just everybody making the adjustment from Frankfurt and Monterey, saying, okay, this is what's winning, or this is the same 60 that has now won both tournaments. How do we beat that same 60?
Right.
Nothing surprising. You're saying that Raging Bolt dropping. As somebody who played Raging Bolt for the last 2 tournaments, I mean, when you, as a Raging Bolt player, see Gardevoir, it's just kind of a very deep sigh. It's a Raging Bolt's probably hardest matchup, I would say. It's just, not that it's unwinnable, but, Guardy player really just can't get set up in order for you to win really strongly, which has been a lot of my Gardevoir wins. So it doesn't surprise me to see any of these conversions and these win percentages to be where they are. I think, as I've said, people have just made the adjustment from the week before.
As we go to conversions, from the top decks, the only one above that 20% is the Joltik Golden Go. And Terra Box as well, having a crazy time. The Guardy Jellicent, again, just blowing me away, really. But I think this is also a case study of it's only the believers that stuck with it. And of those believers, it was the Chow crowd this weekend. So this is probably the very top tier Guardy players happened to pivot to Jelly this weekend. So it's not like Jelly build was secretly way better than Gardevoir all along. It's the best players decided this was a good tournament for Jelly and they're the best players anyway, so they're naturally going to have a higher win rate because basically with no success at Worlds, no success at the first 2 regionals with Jelly Build, although it did, I think it made the top 16 in Frankfurt, possibly, maybe the ASIM, I think it was Consta Calama with a 1-1 line, but generally Jellicent really didn't do too much, so it was really only the people who were like very attuned with the deck to carry on with it. And I know there's not much population in terms of play rate, but Conkeldurr did have a 44% conversion rate, which is also pretty crazy,
That's
honestly.
Pretty good.
It was knocking on the door in Frankfurt and was top of the Swiss for a little while and actually had really good day 1 to 2 conversion. Obviously, it's one of those decks where eventually you're going to run into the Dragadusks and the Guardies as you get towards touching distance of top cuts, so you don't necessarily see it towards like the very top tables. What was the highest placing one in 42nd here?
Shout out to Bennett too.
There you go. But yeah, it's naturally a deck that you don't actually expect to win the tournament with. But pretty cool that its conversion was so good, where you are allowed to take tactical loss to the bad matchups and just accept that you're literally pummeling through other stuff, which is kind of cool. But let's go into the asymmetrical top cut. 10 players then, and the breakdown was 3 Jelly Guardies and 1 regular, 2 Dragadusks, 2 Terrabox, 1 Golden Go, and 1 Zoroark, which ended up winning the whole thing with Liam Halliburton, really experienced player, obviously a world champion in the seniors division, and has a lot of other accolades behind him, and with a nice adaptation of Zoroark, which we know he's been playing for a while.
Yeah, none of this list really kind of surprises me here. Feels like Zoroark was kind of due for something that was a big win. I do enjoy the Team Rocket's Watchtower over the End's Castle in a list like this, just because Zoroark can really struggle versus the Noctowl decks, right? Not just Raging Bolt now, but Terrabox now being back
and
on
Flareon.
And Flareon as well, now all being back on the menu, right? And getting sacked by a Team Rocket's Watchtower turn 1 or turn 2 can actually really mess up your game plan, especially when you're a setup deck in your own kind of right. Especially being able to, like, not playing a TM evolution here, right? We're really banking on trying to, like, get into our evolutions and get going. But I would say this is definitely a more standard Zoroark list. I think it's just teched for the meta in the field.
Yeah, I think it's got different, like you said, especially with Watchtower, it's like he's almost got packages of cards to be win conditions. Like Toadscroll will win him a certain amount of games, Watchtower plus Secret Box to find it early enough will win him a small percentage of games, Maractus is trying to win him a percentage of games. He has the Mochi in here just with Pecharunt, so it doesn't have the Janines, has gone back to PP up, and I way prefer PP up to Janine's Secret Technique. Or Secret Art.
Yes.
But I think the Petch Mochi is like a good combo. Surprising there's no Blood Moon. I think that's often seen as like a finisher in the deck. But Liam's like a very accomplished player, has been playing Zoroark for a while, and has. I suppose you have to not play it when you play double Watchtower. That's the concession you make. You have to cut Blood Moon if you're playing double Watchtower, or you have to conserve Artisan for like the entirety of the game at some point, which doesn't feel smart. So I suppose that's the main reason why he's off it.
I mean, Pecharunt itself is a great attacker as
True.
well.
With the 1E switch.
Yeah, the Irritated Outburst doing 60 more, I believe, times each prize card taken as well. So with End's PP up and an energy switch, rather easy to get set up for the end game cinch as well, especially when you need to hit really high numbers on a Dragapult Charizard potentially. So it does not really surprise me at all, but still we're making room. I mean, this is just a pretty good list. Cyrano's still just one of my...
Well, one of the main things is that most people were on Arven Evo, but he's gone back to Cyrano.
Yeah.
With 2 Hilda as well as 3 Cyrano, because, I mean, 1 Cyrano should generally see all your Zoroark pieces, but still having 2 Hilda in there as well. I guess that's helping get the Toadscroll as well as the Zoro to an extent, but
very true.
0 Ultra Ball, like, again, a lot of, like, unintuitive counts. I suppose that's the difference between pivoting from one to the other, build-wise. But yeah, it's forced enough win cons. I think the one thing about the Pecharunt, if you don't play Janine, you can't Mochi it, so then it actually can't knock out the stage 2s, which is a bit awkward. But it can deal with like other stage 1s and basic EXs, like a Blood Moon would try to do. But congrats to Liam again, like strong. Let's just see the matchups that he faced actually, because
a ton of Guardian
did beat a lot of the Owl builds as well. That was the main thing I was looking at here. That if you can find it early and jam it, great. That's a win condition immediately. If they don't have it in hand, they are going to be way behind. But also just makes Iono so good in the late game into these matchups that you can make that catch up which is looking pretty cool. Faced a lot of Guardy, like, sure, definitely he had a great tournament run in terms of the matchups that he hit. But ultimately, when you're taking Zoroark, you're hoping to hit the 2 best decks, and he happened to hit a lot of them. And once you get onto the winning bracket, you're going to face more of them. So can't really doubt him for that.
Also, technically won this regional, no losses, quite literally at all. 16-0-2, 2 ties in there, but still, like,
very impressive.
This was a dominant run from Halliburton. I'm excited to see something else win. I know that finals itself, there was a missing card and then there was a concession, but the matchup was still bad, right? So it's still a very well-earned victory for Liam, and I know a lot of his friends were super excited, and he's been on the deck for a while. So personally for me, I love to see when somebody just sticks with the deck, refines it, and then takes it all the way. So congratulations to Liam for being the first North American qualified for Worlds.
Apart from Aban.
Oh, in LATAM, yeah, technically.
Aban is also. So I was just going to say, so obviously the final, very awkward situation. No one likes to see a final decided like that. But I think a couple things really soften the blow. First of all, Aban already has his invite.
Yes, fair.
The week before.
Yeah, I would scoop too.
Yeah. Also, he was in a matchup where he knows he's going in 80-20 and he's the 20.
Yeah.
So I think that could have been the same situation happen in a lot of other finals, and it would feel like a disaster and like a huge controversy. But I think because it's A, the player, and B, the matchup, that I think we can more or less be like, yeah, this kind of sucked, but the outcome was basically always going to be the same. But let's take a look at Aban's 59, because I think it's a really interesting list. I should say 60, actually. It's the Jellicent build of Guardy, and a lot of the top players went for this as well.
You have never been controversial as a human being. I'm shocked.
I can't see how many. I need to see how many other players were on the same list, because I think Rahul was on the same 60 as well. Yeah, Rahul, Chow, Jackson, Steven Varesco, lots of top pilots all on the same list. And it's a really solid list. I mean, the small shimmy of supporters from a regular Guardy going up to 3 Arven to cut 1 research. I think that's partly because you're giving yourself the same amount of outs to Evo when you're cutting down 1 physical copy of the TM Evolution from a regular Guardy. So you still maintain the same amount of outs, I suppose, is the main theory, so you can still Evo up. But it also isn't just to help you get Evo, but Arven also is going to get you Balloon into Frillish, into Turn 1 Gloom, which is like also a win condition. And interestingly enough, I looked back at my very first build of this before Black Bolt White Flare came out, and my list was 2 cards off the 60. So I'm quite proud of myself for how close we got, even before Black Bolt White Flare was released. And one of the core things that we did that Japan wasn't doing was we wanted the Air Balloon to get the Turn 1 Frillish. And I'm glad that that's like finally come up in the format. But yeah, the Jellicent itself, we know it's like mirror favored, right, with the Devo. And item lock is really annoying into the Guardy matchup. Like, if you can go item lock into then Jellicent lock, you're then shutting down TM Evo as well as Candy. So you can find Devo lines very easily in Mirror. I think it's also like decent in Golden Go. I remember we were testing pre-Worlds Jelly Guardy into Golden Go, and definitely like Bravery Charm, Frillish, and Jellicent gave you like a hard time in that matchup. Even when I was like drawing pretty badly, I had comeback avenues. So I think that's some of the main reasons to like Jelly. But I think it's still fair to say that like 4th Monkey, 4th Dark, and just like gaining an extra TM Evo and going back to 2 Bravery Charm is still like a really solid list as well.
Yeah, it's just another Gardevoir winning. Like, I said this in our Worlds vlog that we did for Duo Decks. I said this in our Frankfurt vlog as well. I don't know whatever is going to win these tournaments, but it's always somehow going to be Gardevoir. I know a lot of people are really frustrated with Gardevoir, especially knowing that Champions League a couple days ago had Gardevoir with Mega Diancie EX also winning. I don't think this deck
It got finals, right?
Yeah, I think it won. Did it?
No, I think Terrabox
won. Oh, Terrabox won, sure. But still, Gardevoir's not going anywhere, and I think the best Gardevoir players, like the Chow group, just will always make this deck fit to the field, right? We saw this with NAIC and Isaiah Bradner's Turbo Energized Monkey Dory just to counter Marnie's Grimstar EX. So none of this really surprises me that it does well. Do like the 4 Iono here, because how often is it that you're going to be able to find a lock with Oceanic Curse and then plus an Iono, and then you're really stuck out of it. So none of this, Gardevoir winning just feels kind of like inevitable at this point. It's just, will we be able to, going into Mega Evolution, find better ways to do it, because we don't have Mega Gengar just yet. That's not going to be the answer either. It doesn't seem to have an answer. I think that's also why Joltik Box Golden Go may have seen like a good conversion rate, because you know you're getting hands a couple times, and then you have the ability to boss the Gardevoir EXs, boss the Jellicents, and then be able to use all of your tools like Linvincia to get your energy back, and then being able to go on ahead and find your knockouts there. But Gardevoir is inevitable. If you're not playing it, you got to play something that beats it, and that's why I have been playing Terrabox starting last night.
We're back. But yeah, I think it's fair to see Jellicent continuing in the next format as well. I think a lot of people will go new toys, go with the Mega, go with the Garden, and maybe Poffins come back into the deck because you play the Garden. So I think there's going to be some experimentation, but I still think there's room for Jelly in the format, especially if it's still going to be a great Devo option. So yeah, Rahul and Bradley played a different list slightly. It's going to be similar here, though. It's just a second TM Evo for the Arven. So this is the same support line that like Riley's build had, and like the normal monkey, but basically the exact same build. Cal Connor did play the straight build of Gardevoir, though, with the 4 monkey, 4 dark. Also playing 8 basic psychic instead of the 4 vessel. So I guess it's just +1 out to like against item lock, I suppose. That's very similar. Like this could easily be 7 and 4 as well.
That's the thing about Gardevoir, right? Like, even small changes to, like, a 59 or a 58, your engine is still the strongest that you'll see. And it's just, hey, I have more energy to be able to get a Pokemon stuck. You know, a lot of the times now we're seeing, like, people try and just boss something to keep it stuck, like a Curlia, for example, once all the energy is on the board. So it does not surprise me that we're just seeing different counts of energy at this point, but could be anything.
Moving on to the one Golden Go then.
Big shout-outs to Destin as well. Doing the Wonder Kiss.
Yeah, very similar. This is looking really similar to Piper's list, especially with the 4 Cypher, 3 Arven. Has fit in the Counter Catcher. Stuck with a Tool Scrapper, just the 1 Turo. This is very, very similar to Piper's list, although it is playing 1 continuous coin toss.
Yeah.
Which is a bit sus, but there it is anyway. Yeah, Dengo, again, going into the next format, Dengo looking really good. I think 2 Levincia is going to be like core because you need to reach onto Megas.
Oh, yeah.
I think also, interestingly enough, in the Mega format, the Lunatone Soul Rock build has been doing really well, where you play like,
draw a card.
like 5+ fighting energy alongside your metals. And that can give you the early pressure that like a Strike at Rich is trying to do from the Soul Rock side of things, and then you go into the Dengos after that. So I think even one of the highest placing lists from Japan was a trolley build, which was kind of crazy. Yeah. Let's have a look at the Draga Dusks, which inevitably, I believe they both hit Gardevoirs. So their runs were ended. Small adaptation here, which I like, which is Shaman. Definitely like a hot topic for the tournaments, I think, with so much of the Terrabox doing well, but also it naturally being okay into Raging Bolt, which is a strong deck, and Gardevoir, which is a strong deck. Like, what's the harm in having it?
So if you watched any of the stream, when you go to the caster picks, Chip was the only person to actually put Shaman, and I know you were saying this as well. That Terrabox did extremely well, I think, in Frankfurt, and it felt like nobody was really kind of respecting
I'm surprised.
That.
I'm really surprised.
So,
I thought it was like a no-brainer for a lot of the decks in this format coming into next, like the week after. But I guess there's the game of chicken of like, can I get away with my deck not playing this stupid card if I feel like people will be scared off Terrabox,
right.
You know?
Like, it's, oh, well, guess what? Like, Dragapult's always good. Like, I'll always be down a prize card because of Curse Blast anyway. Like, do I really need to include this?
Right.
But I think, once again, we're moving we know what archetypes work. We know what archetypes win. It's just well, this did well last week, and let's see how well it's going to do this week. And what cards can be cut, what cards can be needed. So.
The only other thing I would like with this list, having the Shaman, I would like to play 1 Hilda and 2 Brock to support that Shaman a bit more. Because the list is playing no Artisan, only 1 Nest Ball. You can't actually find the Shaman in a good amount of time very often.
Not at all.
So an Artisan or turning Hilda to a Brock would make me like that a bit more. Right now it's like a Copium ad, and like, sure, maybe you can commit an Ultra Ball to it early just to protect your board, but that seems very sus. Like, I know you get to go, like, the main reason I say Brock is because you get to go second in this matchup, right? So I would like that flip-flop, just for the logic of seeing Shaman early enough, but I think the choice of Shaman, not necessarily just for this deck, but just in general, you have to support the card because it has that 80 hit points, so it actually has to work out for you.
It's also not, needed in every matchup anyway.
Sure.
Right? So sometimes you just don't need to find it, but here's a list without Shaman that did pretty much just as well.
This is basically the standard list plus a Turo, which you don't always see.
Like it.
Yeah. Standards.
Done.
I guess I think it's double Pult and Turo rather than triple Pult. I think that's the main count that's normal.
I think that's fine. How many Dragapult EXs are you really getting out on the field during every
normally you win
game?
with 2 Phantom Dives during the game. You've got 4 Stretcher, so as long as you don't prize the 2, you're laughing. So congrats to Simon there.
This is my favorite list
and
coming
then
out.
Terrabox. So Shemansky played Terrabox at the World Championships, got himself a nice top 32 bag and some cash with the 1/1 Eevee Leafeon.
Yes.
Now has adapted to have Fire plus Flareon in the deck as well.
Yeah, big shout-outs to Alex and Josh Frink for this list. I built this last night. I've been playing it. Honestly, I love the versatility of a Terrabox list. I'll be quite honest. When I first picked up Terrabox, when it started to pick up steam, both Joe and I, in testing every Jewel Seeker, gave us a brain aneurysm. But I think having a versatile deck now for every matchup you could hit only just feels really right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really starting to enjoy the playing Terrabox a little bit more. I really love the EV inclusion as well. As great as Teal Mask Ogerpon is, it can take a little bit to power up as well with a couple more resources. You need Attach, Crisp, and E-Switch as well. So just having Leafeon there. Plus you were also mentioning last night while we were playing that Moss Agate as well. Healing damage also could be very effective in certain matchups too. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see where this list goes. This is the list I'm currently on as I need a break from Raging Bolt. But this is definitely a fun list. I think if you have the brain capacity to play an Owl deck, definitely try this one. Shout out to Alex and Josh.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. See here, I was weighing up, like, is Flareon better than a regular Terrabox in the first place? And then I saw the mix and match at Worlds from Alex, and I was like, okay, Leafeon definitely makes sense, because this is a very efficient, like, checkmate card in a couple of matchups.
Sure.
And the Flareon then is like, it's a really easy justification, because against Golden Go, you can Burning Charge with it to a Pikachu.
Right.
That's basically instant checkmate, right?
Sure.
If you're powering up Pika whilst taking a 2... Mm-hmm. And already you could have used Wellspring earlier in the game. Yeah. So, like, in a lot of matchups, it's instant checkmate. But then my debate is, like, why are we not just going a bit thicker into the Flareons and then just stealing the Ogerpon part and the Clefairy part? I don't know. I'm still debating that, like, can Flareon plus Grav Mountain not cover the Pikachu already? I feel like we're still a bit blurred lines. I'm still just terrified of this. Like, the one thing this deck doesn't want to see is an early Iono or an early Judge. Like, I feel like it will just crumble.
That's what happened last night.
Exactly. Like, there's just too many moving parts for me. I feel like I still want to pick a lane if I'm going... Even if it's just like a second Eevee coming into the deck. Yeah. Even if it's just a Terra Eevee EX coming into the deck, you know? And, fine, play one Flareon, one Leafeon. You don't have to go too crazy. Like, I'm not saying bring Sylveon back or anything. But, like... I don't know, I'm still just thinking that you might need to be a bit more selective rather than, like, the catch-all. Sorry, I just want to go back to his...
matchups?
Yeah, wins and losses. Because 3 losses in here. Gardy, I think, is inherently the weaker matchup, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Losing to End Zoroark, that has to be a symptom of inconsistency, right? I mean, you do get wrecked by the Watchtower from Exactly Liam.
That's honestly what probably happened.
But I feel like... if you stick one of these 2 evolutions, you just like win on the spot with that situation. But who knows? Maybe it was just Watchtower scam, and that's fair enough. Like, I'm trying to reduce it down a bit, but I feel like a Flareon should very rarely be losing to a Zoroark unless they're just completely stuck on dregs. The other Terrabox is the all basic build, though, sort of more traditional, subbing out the Leafeon for the leaves. Basically, all the basics are the same. Has the Vit Band in here, which is cheeky for Pikachu to KO. Gardy, which is kind of cool.
Interesting.
I think I like the Stadium Bounce more, though. I think I like Grav Mountain still being better.
Mountain,
just to be a bounce to... Watchtower. Well, to bounce your own Area 0 as well to heal. So the Vit Band's cheeky. What else can Vit Band do for you that a Grav Mountain can't? Is there something else that I'm missing?
Full Moon Rondo hitting that extra 10. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, you can Torrential Pump Monkey Dory in the active and KO2 Pokemon.
Yeah, if you don't Sparkling Crystal.
Gardevoir always promotes Monkey against you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big difference, right? That's the reason why you play this over the Grav. That must be that. Tool Scrapper as well, wow.
Yeah, we were really on our Tool Scrappers this tournament. For Golden Go Air Balloons, probably, right?
But this deck doesn't have enough. This plays one Iono. I don't know. I feel like Tool Scrapper's a space. How many Gardevoirs are going to overcommit their Bravery Charm? I think so few. I mean, I know a thick Bravery Charm just did well. Oh, I suppose there's also a world where Bravery Charmed higher hit point basics block your Ogerpon as well. Yeah. Or block your Fan Rotom. So maybe that's worth it. I don't know. That feels like a sus card. That like you have to have started so well to actually weave in the Scrapper with the other stuff. Like that's a turn 2 double owl play, right?
Yep.
I don't know. But Terror Box, like, obviously good. I think, again, I tweeted a week before Worlds that I thought it was super under-respected.
Yeah.
And was like a really good deck in the format just based on the context. And I think that wasn't... Well, Alex showed it at Worlds. He was one of the only ones willing to roll those dice, profited from it. Then other people have cottoned onto that train, and it seems like still not enough people are committing to the Shaman into their own deck, or they feel like they can't support it well enough. Like, not a lot of these decks have easy access to multiple Shaman and their other basics, so it makes sense. So yeah, I guess Terrorbox continues on into the next format, still representing the early pressure from Wellspring. That's not going to change. So still, it's going to be a solid deck. And there could be new Mega Editions as well. If you want to have more burst attackers that can come onto the board in one go, and there are some strong Mega EX basics, like Kangaskhan is just a good basic that can give you a body that also has draw power. So I think that's kind of interesting as well. Let's have a look just outside the ASIM then. The high spacing Grimmsnarl is going back to a couple copies of Boss. We saw this from Mike playing a bossless build, so this is more traditional. I think there's no real surprises coming out of this one. The Shaman is much more core in the Grimmsnarl than other decks. Why does it keep taking me back here? I don't know. Other top places, Ben was the highest placing.
Congratulations, Ben. This is really exciting. I know Ben was really loved and supported throughout the run here. The Chestaflage, though,
Can't get on board with that.
Why not? Tell us why.
Because Call for Family is just better.
Listen.
I know you're always announcing Jolting Charge, and if you're not, you're losing. But if ever you have... Like, why would you play this instead of just a 470 then? Like, I don't see any reason to have Chestaflage.
Look at him.
Yeah. And also, you may, like, wince at 3 superior, but I'm also at 3 superior in my list of this deck, because you very often only need to attack once or twice with Golden Go. It's very frequent your win condition is hands, especially with the Bravery Charm, right? So you very frequently go double hands for 4, and you just need 1 Golden Go as a finisher. So very frequently you only need 1 of these alongside your Levincia.
At most 2 if you're playing, like, high hit point Dragapult.
And if you only get punished if you've prized 1 and have to spend 2 to take your third and fourth prize cards and don't pull from your prize cards. So I really agree with this count, just to fit the extra Brocs and the extra gears, because that's what it's all about, man. You just have to get that T1. It's all about T1, and I definitely think this is correct. Just give yourself maximum odds. I think I was at 4 scouting even.
Wow.
Because I'm just like, I got to get scouting, to be honest. Do like the list though. I think... And I know you're all going to be like, what is going on here? I think the 3 Vessel's kind of high. But anyway, that for me, I think that's a Brock. But generally, the Superior at 3, I think, is actually perfect, to be fair. Outside of that, the high spacing Raging Bolt, top 32. Slither back in makes sense, just because the context of the format.
How close is this to my list?
This looks really close to your list.
This is my list.
Is this your exact 16? Do you play the...
Close enough. Yep, this is...
Do you play Blood Moon? Yes, you do. Yeah. This is your list. Yep. Shucks, it could have been you.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Wasn't your day.
Yeah, you're telling me. Anyway, yay, this was like, I feel like Zard is almost there. I'm like a real believer in Zard right now. I think nobody's paying attention to it, and I think when nobody pays attention to it, it does make okay runs. We're seeing kind of going back to the max belt as well. So we're trying to hit 210 real early so we can go aggressive if we want to and take the first 2 prizes on something like a Pheasantipity or an Ogre Pond right out of the way if we're able to kind of like find our weight early, which I definitely don't hate. Chi-Yu is an awesome attacker in this deck. Boy, do I hate that card as somebody who plays Steel Mask, but it's just such a great equalizer. I think Zard, I'm not quite sure how it's going to do coming soon in Mega's format, but...
I mean, I don't see why it would be much worse, honestly.
But, you know, there's always one that has to do, like, decently well. I think I've met David before. I think he's in the Georgia area, I want to say. But I'm not quite sure. But, I mean, this is... Talk about all over the spectrum in terms of...
matchups.
Yeah, right. This is, like, a lot of different stuff.
I was going to say, the sort of calculus with Charizard for me is, like, compare this to a Grimmsnarl, where both the selling points have to be that your Gardevoir is pretty strong.
Right.
But, like, the Charizard, I think, is better into the Dengo and other aggro decks. Like, because of Briar, because of Chi-Yu, I think you enjoy the Dengo, I think you enjoy the Raging Bolt. I think you're fine into the Joltik hands, although I think you're not great into the Joltik box, okay into the Dengo build. Yeah. Whereas the Grimmsnarl obviously has the superior Dragapult Dusk, right? Yeah. So Grimmsnarl is like, let me hit those... It's very similar to Enzoroark. Let me hit those stage 2 decks.
Right.
But I guess if we're going to that calculus, the Zoroark, especially with Watchtower, Toadscruel, Maractus, that's trying to cover every base. And actually, because it's a stage 1, it has the space, unlike these stage 2s that have to sacrifice somewhere. So maybe I think I've just taught myself into Zoroark over everything else, actually. That's crazy.
Keep going.
I think that's more as Ethan's, a top 32 as well. Not too shabby. A build that has the
Bangles.
2-2-1 Pulse. Yeah, Bangles the classic. Has Monkey, which you don't often see either. I suppose that's supported by the Luminous.
Grav Mountain as well. Artisan, good setup. 4 buddies, yeah. One rare candy to just get there if we need
pretty standard. Yeah, it's pretty standard to play 1 candy, honestly. Yeah, I mean, it's a standard build.
Just made it. What were the matchups?
Good question.
Oh, I'm sure that... Oh, all out Blitzel on the Crustle. I'm sure he was not happy to see that one at round 13.
Dragadusk L faced only 1 Dragadusk. I mean, that's your worst matchup, right? Dragadusk. Right. Lost to an Enzoroark. What's the
Enzoroark. Christian Labella on Enzoroark.
Yeah, but surely Enzoroark is a good matchup for you.
Potentially.
What becomes problematic?
Attach pass.
I'm trying to think if Toadscruel's problematic. Probably not. Only 1 Night Stretcher. I don't know how you don't win that matchup. It must just be inconsistency of...
Sometimes I mean, it happens, right? Attach pass is inevitable.
Yeah.
Keep going. Who else? Who else we got?
I think we get into the end, really. We got the conch we have to look at.
Go on.
It's same enriching build that we
Bennett's
saw.
List? Oh, big shout out to Bennett, man. This was so cool. I mean, we got to see conch on stream. We did not get to see it kind of like flourish, unfortunately, because it was up against Owen Jalgard's Dragadusk, right?
Yeah.
But
the nemesis of the matchup.
This deck can absolutely overwhelm 90% of the field, honestly. When you're hitting it, when the engine goes and it goes and it goes, it's kind of discouraging at certain points, right? Because you're drawing what could be 12 cards in a turn off of 3 to Dunsparces. You have the enriching energy as well, and getting everything set up, it just feels really great. I know you made a joke about this on Twitter today, but with Premium Power Pro could, keep people on their toes, but I think into Terrabox, this could, easily just fall over by the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, you're not playing a Shaman, but with Chorus, Artisan, Town Store, it's not too much to ask for to play a Shaman, apart from just bench space being pretty premium.
I wonder how often the Sacred Ash came in as well, too?
I mean, I think it's fine. It's just a space thing, right? It's like, I probably need to have this now and again if my opponent's targeting X Pokemon non-stop.
Sure.
But I really don't want to commit much more space to it because we're having to force everything else in. So
right.
I think you just have to accept that. I mean, because you're not playing you're not playing basic energy, so you always play this over Rod, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's just a space cheat essentially. The 1/1 Pidgeot, it's interesting again just for bench space issues. You know that you're always putting 2 Timber down. You're always putting Fan Rotom down basically in every game. You're always putting down Bonnet.
Yeah.
So then those 1 or 2 flex spots for the Dedunce. Like, very often you want to have 2 to dance in play, but I suppose the power of the quick search is just too good. The Blood Moon is also like a really important finisher. There was a fairly high placing.
I was about to give a shout out to this player as well. So Ed Valencia, New Jersey / Philly native who I've known for a long time. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride when it came to a lot of his tournament runs. Like, obviously, if you know Ed, very competent player, just never made it to that day 2. And finally, thanks to the help of Kressel, I guess, not only making it just to phase 2 of the tournament, but ranking, top 64, like almost at the top 32 as well. So big congratulations, big shout outs to Ed. I know the Philly people will be happy about that one because, once again, a player who's been playing for just such a long time, just never able to make it to that day 2. And once you're there, right, taking it all the way up to top 64, very impressive. But this is Kressel for you.
I think the blind side is cool as well. I think I saw James also talking about this, who played Crustal.
Yeah.
Just have a little snipe, a little surprise. Like,
Cute.
if someone's slow building an answer, you can just get that guy a little bit more consistently, which is kind of cool. I think that more or less wraps it up. There was another Wolves in top 64. There was a Blissey in 64. Yeah. But I think more or less that's everything. And I think that's closing the entire chapter on Omnipoke for the Black Bolt White Flare format. And I think from now on, we're looking at Mega Evo.
What are you playing in Mega Evo?
I'm definitely going to be testing Luna Rock in like every deck imaginable, honestly. I want to try Luna Rock Dengo. I want to try Luna Rock Ethan's Typhlosion, actually. I think that has a lot of potential. We did videos on that on the channel, and that's yet to come out for our tabletop battles, and I think that deck has a lot of potential. I basically just love that engine and want to try and make it work, because it's early pressure, it's draw power, it's easily imported into a deck where, again, you play 4 Stretcher. We know how good that is with Drag at Dusk, just because Stretcher's a crazy card. I think that's where I'm going to start. And I also want to try the Zoro Lucario, as well as the straight Lucario. Like, I'm going to be on fighting stuff, I think. I think there's just way too much support from the new set where something's going to work. And I want to, like, Conkeldurr as the gimmick option. Because I think Conk already does insane damage, so the power pros don't change much.
Right.
But
the gongs do.
The gongs
help.
Well, this is the thing. I want to play Luna Rock Gong in Conk and take out the enriching hill. Like, just start a new engine.
Let us know if you want to see that on duo decks. You've also been playing Mega Kangaskhan Terrabox.
I really like that as well. I think that's. I don't need to play much more of that, just because it's very similar to old tanky Terrapagos. But just has more draw power and a bigger tank. So I just know that's like quite good. And I don't want to play that because I just know on the ladder everyone's going to start with Lucario, and there's no point in me playing Kang into that. But anyway, that's it. That's the chapter. I think there easily could have been more adaptation to this post-Worlds metagame. I think we only just started to unearth some like new lists, but yeah, shout out to Liam for getting his invites and innovating Zoroark even further. Commiserations to Aban for the awkward stream game, but took like an absolute champ. And I think we can all accept that he was a big underdog going into that finals, no matter how they were both playing. So. And
it was just an unfortunate situation, I think, all around.
And by the way, like, there's like no malicious intent in any way for Cal either. People coming after Cal, I really don't understand, because if you just, I mean, like, first of all, they're friends, they're teammates, and it's one of those moments when you're on stream, you're completely in your own head of having just lost, like, devastating. You just want to get out of there as quickly as possible, and he literally just mushed his cards all together. The Monkey Dory flew over. It's not his fault that he didn't, like, see it. Right. Like, it's just a high emotion situation. And we've seen Cal, like, pop off on stream before as well in high-pressure moments, you know? He's done, like, big slams and stuff like that. So, like, we know he's an emotional guy. You know how much it means to him.
Right.
And, yeah, just anyone coming after him for that, it just doesn't make sense, because it was the most genuine accident you'll ever see from both sides. And it's a shame that it ended up like that, but at least I think we have those mitigating factors we mentioned.
Yeah, also just the fact that, I don't know if all of you guys know, but in your headphones when you are on stream, there is the loudest white noise you could have ever imagined in your ears, because when you sit in a regional stream, the casters are on speakers, so to make sure the audience can hear you, but you can't hear the casters, they have some insanely loud white noise. that could be triggering for a lot of people. It's obnoxious to play with, you would know. The table is also really slippery. Like, there are 100 factors that went in. I don't think Malice is in any of them.
No.
So, yeah, that's just just remember to be nice.
Also, just don't blame the judges either. It's it's just a bad
Stop
situation.
That.
We just have to
Please
accept
stop
that, right? Yeah. It's a post-game situation where the judges are like trying to make sure the match slip is done and all this other stuff. Like, they have enough things to look at, rather than which cards are being collected away.
Just be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice to the judges. Are doing it for you guys too. At the end of the day, mistakes happen. We're all human. But definitely an interesting start to North America for the season. We'll get a little bit silly, I think, in Milwaukee too, coming up in a couple of weeks, and I think Milwaukee starts us off in terms of the broadcast, and then we're double EU, which will be Lille and Gdansk, and then we'll do going back to Las Vegas. And I think for calendar year 2025, I think that's it for the broadcast, because there's no regionals in December, I believe. So we got a lot of stuff to kind of go over very soon, which I'm very excited about. But thanks, Joe, for having me as somebody who now lives in your house.
Thank you for your insights that I couldn't have had without you being here. And
Sub to Duo Decks.
Shameless. Right, see you later, guys. Bye.